Hey, so good to see you, even though I can't see you. It's another beautiful day in the neighborhood, and I'm so excited that you are here at the Perseverance Podcast. My name is Kelvin Crosby, also known as the Deaf Blind Potter, and I'm excited to take you on this journey today through my life over this last couple of years. And I really want you to be as transparent as possible to know that, hey, I might look like I have it perfect, but I do not. I struggle every day, and I still have to continue to live beyond my own challenges every single day. So you ready to go on this journey with me? Let's do this. Persevering is what can allow you to overcome. But you have to find joy in the pain that you live with. It's not going to be easy, but the reward and the character that you will build in persevering through your challenges will be so rewarding. It will give you so much hope. Are you ready to persevere through your challenges? Let's do this. I want to take you on a journey that sets us in 2020. For me, 2020 wasn't just COVID. 2020 was a time where I would lose pretty much almost everything to support my family. Wait, how does that work? Well, let's dive right into this. And let me take you on this journey, because first what we're going to need to do is set the scene. I went to the CSUN conference of 2020, and a lot of people weren't showing up. It was kind of like a ghost town, but you had a lot of foreign countries there. You had a lot of people that they needed to show up to this to further their business and make the connections. And so there tend to be a lot of key players in March of 2020 at CSUN, and I had in my hand a prototype of an invention that I made called the See Me cane, which is a lighted blind cane. As I am at this conference, like I said, there were some key players there, and they were like, "We love your See Me cane." Obviously, it was a giant 1-inch tube, and it worked just very simple. It had a flashlight in it, and it lit up from the top to bottom. And it was simple. It wasn't too complicated, but there were some challenges. And I wasn't really prepared for what I was going to face. See, at the conference, people were saying, yes, we want this. And I'm like, all right, I got a plan. I'm going to leave this conference. I'm going to go to another conference. I'm going to get some endorsements. And then the next week, I'm going to get an investors, because I have my meetings with them, and they've already said they're already willing to invest. Everything is looking good. I'm in the right position to run this business, to create the See Me cane, because the market's showing me that they want it. There's investors that want it. But I'll never forget the day after leaving this conference, and I fly up to Portland, Oregon. I'm attending the conference, and it was already determined it was going to go virtual, but I was already there. I already had my tickets. I was already committed. And I remember being in my hotel room and my father calling me and saying, "Kelvin, you got to get home. One, you got a family to take care of. You got your wife, and you got your foster son that you need to take care of." So I booked a flight that night and took off and landed back in San Diego. It was crazy. There was nobody on the plane. So I ended up getting home and didn't leave my house for almost 2 years. I remember at this point, I have come home from Portland, Oregon, and I open up my email, and it's from the two investors that were going to invest close to about $300,000 into the business. I was prepared for this. I was ready for this. I was excited for this. And you know when you open an email and you're like, oh, this is going to be good. And you open that email and it's not what you expected. I don't know what I expected. The world was already crazy at that point. But at this point, the investors said, Kelvin, we're going to have to pull out. I know you needed this money, but we're losing our money too. And I'm thinking, no. Like, this can't be happening. I can't live my life this way. I'm going to lose my business. I'm realizing this isn't going to be easy. I got a product, and I have no way to show it, because the world's shutting down. But I'm going to keep building this out. Because I had just cracked the code on the secret sauce to make the cane smaller and lighter, literally a month earlier. And I'm like, I got this. I can do this. So I started engineering, started making the handle, started working on different parts, started doing those things. But June 2020 would rock my world. And I will have to tell you, at this point, our foster son, my wife and I were raising at that point, runs away. We find him a month later. But I didn't realize what was happening to my vision. See, I live with Usher syndrome type 2, which affects your ears and your eyes. I was living with this, and I had already lost all the clarity in my left eye, and I thought my right eye was going to be just fine for the rest of my life. I mean, I thought it was going to be good. But that didn't happen. June of 2020, the clarity in my right eye went. I mean, it literally was there yesterday, and it was gone tomorrow. And I was just devastated. And trying to make it work. Say, no, I got this. I can do this. No, it's not going to happen that way. God had a different plan for me. And I'm like, I don't want this. I don't want this. And I'm in the darkness. And I'm also realizing I can't see my own wife. And my wife is going through her own struggles because I can't see her. Tell her how beautiful she is, and tell her that I'm attracted to her, and let her feel good about who she is. I couldn't do that no more. I had to then navigate this world of legal blindness to, one, to support my wife, 2, to help me heal through my pain, and 3, to be able to run my business. Because at this point, I had no way to run my business, because I had kind of built my whole life around, my right eye was still functioning and I could get away with it. But I was not prepared for this. And I knew I had to do something. Because I wasn't going to go back to the program that I built, the assistive technology program. I really didn't want to build another one of those. I wanted to do inventions and build products. And that's what was driving me along. And I was enjoying it. But when your eyes fail you and you're wondering, God, why would you do this? Like, I thought this was your plan. I thought this is what you had in mind. But then it completely turned a completely different way. And I remember it was August of 2020. I'm reaching out to God and I said, God, you got to give me something. And I'm just doing everything possible to move myself forward so that way we're not losing money. And I'm realizing at this point, I'll just write my book. I'll start a podcast. I'll do anything just to keep me moving forward. But here's the problem. I didn't have the vision to do any of that. I mean, I could still type, but I didn't have the vision to edit podcasts. I didn't have the capabilities to do web development anymore. Couldn't do engineering, couldn't CAD, couldn't do any of that stuff. And I just remember just asking God, just give me something. Just give me something. I'm realizing I got to do something to overcome this challenge. See, we're in this time in my life where I decided I'm going to get rid of my big phone that I have. I'm going to force myself to use a software called VoiceOver on the iPhone. I'm going to learn it. I'm going to learn the NVDA screen reader and take it to the fullest. I'm going to learn it really, really well, run it all by hearing, and just navigate the world that way. Because I was determined to do that, I was able to overcome some barriers. I was able to web develop again. I was able to write again, do simple business tasks. I was able to do the things that I needed to do to run the business, and then ask for support in areas that I couldn't do. But the thing is, we still had no funding. And we've already gone 6 months with no funding to develop the See Me cane. God, how are you going to provide for me, my wife, and my family? And be able to take this invention and take it somewhere. He sure has something different planned. Because it wasn't what I was expecting. And at this point, it's December of 2020. The first day of the month. See, a month earlier, a friend of my family reached out to me and said, Kelvin, we know you've been doing pottery for a long time. We know that you kind of put your pottery away because you're running your See Me cane business. We were wondering if we could use a pottery wheel. And I'm like, okay, I'm down, but I'll make you a deal. Because if you know me, I'm all about a good deal. And so I ended up going to their house after they had the pottery wheel and the kiln and all this stuff, and just making a couple pieces. And then one of the daughters there took a video and put it on TikTok. And at this point, I was just thinking, oh, we're just going to make a video. We'll get a couple likes. That was at 9 o'clock at night. I went to bed. You know me, I go to bed very early, and I like to wake up really early. And I'm ready to go for the day, and my phone's blowing up from one of the daughters saying, you got to see this. And I'm thinking, what do you mean? Like, did the kiln blow up? Did something go wrong with the kiln or the pottery that we were working on or whatever? No, she's like, no, you got to see the TikTok. I'm like, what do you mean? It's just TikTok. Like, there's probably like 10 followers. 10 followers and maybe like 100 views. She said, I'm going to call you. I'm going to call you. She calls me and she said, Kelvin, you got to see this. Well, I can't see anymore, so I can't quite see it. And she goes, Kelvin, we have over 10,000 followers. And this video that we just posted has over 100,000 views. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I didn't have TikTok, so I downloaded TikTok on my own. It's completely inaccessible to blind people. I'll just be straight with you on that. I go into the section where you can go to the profile and look at it, and it's 10,000 followers. Over 100,000 views on that one video. It's only one video. I just kind of cried. I said, God, what do I do with this? First thing came to mind, I gave you the gift to build websites. Build a website. Literally in 24 hours, I built a website for people to put custom orders in. One of the daughters then grabbed a hold of me and said, we're going to go make another video. All right, we made another video. That one hit 1.4 million views. And we grew over 50,000 followers. I was like, this is absolutely ridiculous. I've never had anybody who paid this much attention to me. Let alone my life being changed to this point where I gotta start actually thinking about how to run a pottery business. And how am I gonna manage this? How are we gonna do this? And next thing you know, orders are starting to come in. And I wasn't really prepared for the amount of orders that I got. I got close to, I want to say, 50 to 60 orders, all custom. One person wanted a plain vase where it was thrown and it had a plane that comes out of the top. Another person wanted a handmade mug with imprinted logos on it. And it was like, this is dangerous because this is outside of what I normally do. And it's kind of outside of my comfort zone. But could I charge enough money to make it worth my time? And I kind of made a decision. I'm only going to make things that I can do. And I can do them fairly quickly. Because it just kept coming in and coming in and coming in. Because I would be there for hours and days working on one piece. And I couldn't justify making a piece for $3,000 and it takes me 3 months to make. I just had a hard time charging that much money for some mud for decoration or use it in the kitchen. And I'm thinking, God, you got a plan here, but I'm not sure what it is. But I knew one thing, though. I needed to build an inventory. So what we did is we made 50 mugs. Within 5 days, I sold out of all 50 mugs. Well, I got to ship this stuff. I'd never shipped anything like this before. And we ended up shipping it across the country. And like one piece made it out to Europe, another one to Australia. And it was crazy. The thing is, we were bringing in enough money to start really pushing the CB cane forward. I could stop taking money out of the savings to run the CB cane. And I could still support the deafblind potter. And I'm thinking, this is kind of crazy. So we ended up taking this full circle in 2021. And it was toward the end of that year when I put up my suicide attempt video. This is where things started changing for me. I wasn't only just making pottery. My life model that I'm going to rejoice in my suffering and persevere and build a character that has hope in Christ started really catching on fire. But I didn't really know how to handle all that. I was just being myself to find joy in every single pain. Find a challenge and say, God, give me a little bit of joy for this pain. So we're now in, I want to say, June of 2021. Maybe even a little later. Because the lady that was helping me, she ended up getting a new job, and I ended up having to do a lot of the work on my own. I had to learn how to video edit blind. I had to learn how to make my own videos blind. I had to do a lot of things blind. And one of the videos that I did on my own was this. I don't want to live anymore. I'm going to pack my pocket with food and make myself smell good and hike into the mountains in Sequoia National Park in hopes that I'm going to get attacked by a bear. But there was this still soft voice that said, Kelvin, I don't want you to live with this anger, frustration about your deafblindness. I ended up walking back home, and at the end I said, if you're struggling with suicide, tell somebody. Message me or call the 1-800 number. See, this video literally set the path from, I'm just selling pottery, to me becoming this deafblind potter that encourages you to live beyond your challenges. See, this video hit 5 million views and saved over 10,000 lives. And I still support the deafblind potter. And I'm still making money to run the CB cane. And I had enough money now to get myself a contract manufacturer to make the CB cane. The CB cane was doing well. We were at a point now I gotta scale. I gotta scale to get ready for the next conference in March, and we're gonna be good. So I reached out to the contract manufacturer, and they said a week later, nope, we don't want to work with you. I was pretty devastated because I had built a relationship with the contract manufacturer, and I was happy with what they could do and how they could get me there. But this video going viral, the suicide attempt video, at the same time. And I knew if I tag a video to a viral video, it will make that video pop off too. So I created a video of me getting hit by a car, or aka faking that I got hit by a car. I didn't want to really get hit. I already had that experience 3 times in my life. And I created this video, and it hit over 100,000 views within 10 hours. And I started getting referrals and referrals and referrals. I'm like, I wasn't expecting this. The first video that went viral, which was December 2020, if you didn't listen to Angie telling her story, I'll recap it here quickly. Angie's laying in bed in 2020 of December, and she just downloaded TikTok for the first time. She opens it up, and she sees me saying, I am the deaf-blind potter. I was born hard of hearing, lost my night vision at age 13, started pottery when I was 16. At age 19, lost all my peripheral vision, and at age 20, learned how to throw in a pottery wheel by feel. At age 32, lost the clarity in my right eye, but I'm living beyond my challenge. How about you? This changed Angie's life, and she reached out for a custom piece, and next thing you know, I'm making one for her because she's at a point in her life where the hope is going away fast. The worry of how she's going to support her family is coming quickly. And I was able to bring a little bit of hope to her. Next thing you know, I'm in the struggle of trying to figure out how I'm going to manufacture this See Me cane. She reaches out to me. She says, Kelvin, I'm currently not working right now because I'm in too much pain to be able to keep a normal 8 to 5 job. I could help you out. I'm like, okay. So I ship everything to her, and she starts taking it apart, figuring it out, working out the details. She sends me a See Me cane back, and I just fell in love with it. And by the time March came, she made me a bunch of See Me canes to take to this conference. And next thing you know, people are just falling in love with the See Me cane. And I wasn't ready to go to market yet. And we had a major issue in our development. Our secret sauce was warping. Our secret sauce in our tube was causing the cane to warp over time. And I was devastated because I have worked hard to get this tube dialed in to the point where it is today. But don't you just love when mistakes happen and God just makes sure the mistake is actually the right thing you needed? See, what ended up happening is the secret sauce had a color in it. And the people that are manufacturing the tubes, they no longer could support that colorant. And I'm thinking, no, you're going to mess up my whole design. They had another way to use my secret sauce and to take out the colorant and see if it will work. And they did. They sent it to me, and I'm like, this is disgusting. It's not white. It doesn't allow the light to do what it's supposed to do. It makes it all yellow. I'm not happy with this. And the other thing is, we were painting these tubes at this point. And I'm like, God, you're giving me this product, and I've already invested a ton of money. I can't continue to put more money into this. So I ended up testing out the tube, and the tube didn't warp over time. But it was ugly looking. And I'm like, God, you gotta give me something. Give me something to solve this ugly looking color to make it be a See Me cane that I wanted to use. And next thing you know, I found a shrink tube that makes the cane white. And because I changed the colorant in the shrink tube, here we are. I'm able to take that ugly color, let the light do its thing, and then reinterpret the light to be the white color that I want it to be. It's not perfect, but our cane doesn't work, and it's super bright, and you can see it from 100 yards away. See, as each challenge came across, I kept asking God, how do I find a little bit of joy in this? How do I find the perseverance needed to keep going forward? There were times when Andy would send me handles and they would fall apart, and I'm like, this isn't going to work. Got to go back to the drawing table. There are times where I'm working on a cane and testing it out, and I break it in half, and I'm just like, God, how are we going to keep moving forward? See, no good thing comes easy. See, this is what I want you to understand through my story. You can persevere. You can build a character that has hope in Christ. And you can find joy through the whole process. Because I know for myself, to find joy through losing all my clarity, losing all the funding, losing the ability to support my family, losing the ability to keep running my business, and then having it myself go viral, and then figuring out, oh, I have funding, but even with the funding, there was still going to be pain in developing this product because it was going to have to go through more pain. See, that's what life is all about, is pain. It's not going to be easy, but it's what you choose to do with that pain. Do you choose to live with the pain in your life and allow it to destroy you? Or do you allow it to help you overcome a challenge? Does it allow you to say, God, I'm going to give this to you, and you're going to mold me, shape me, and guide me through this process? I want to encourage you today. If you have not allowed God to be a part of your journey in your pain, I want you to take a moment and say, Jesus, come into my heart and my mind and my soul and give me a little bit of joy so that Satan can't continue to destroy today. See, pain is what makes us stronger. Suffering is what makes us stronger. If you know people that have a true relationship with Christ, you know they're kind of asking for more pain. They're kind of asking for a little bit more suffering. They don't really want it, but they know how much joy it brings them. I wake up every morning and I grieve my vision. Like, I woke up this morning and I'm like, I'm going to have to go out and I got to go navigate. But I think God, just give me a little bit of joy right now. Immediately it was there. And I walked out of that door and he had every tap and sweeping that I was doing to make sure I got to the bus stop safely and get to my point A to point B safely. He had it all under control. He knew that this day was going to be a little bit more of a challenge for me. So he only gave me enough challenges today so that I could focus on him. And tomorrow, there'll be a new set of challenges. But just take today as today's challenges. Don't take tomorrow's, because if you add tomorrow's and today's, you're going to be overwhelmed. Just take this moment, this challenge, and allow God to guide you. Going through the challenges of the Seeming Cane development, and in February of 2023, I launched the first 100 Seeming Canes to go to market. We sold all of them in 2 months. And the next thing you know, we're in December. And we're getting ready to launch a more durable cane. A cane that will last longer in battery life. Because I decided to allow God to give me a little bit of joy in the hard times of this development. I'll be continuing to update you in the future on where we're at, where things are going, and how the Seeming Cane is changing lives, as well as the Deaf-Blind Potter and being a vessel to further the kingdom of Christ. Because I decided, as Kelvin Crosby, to find joy in my pain, persevere, and build a character that has hope in Christ. Here comes the Perseverance Corner. So today's verse comes from Isaiah 41:10. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. This verse is coming to me just in the right time, because I'm overwhelmed by so much. But God got me in his hand. God got a plan for me to continue to further what I am doing. As Christians, we tend to find ourselves, well, we can do everything, but we have to remember, we need his help. We need his guidance, his purpose. We need his plan. And what's challenging through all of this is that we live in times that are so dark right now. We live in times that we're not sure where the financial state of the country going to be. Wars happening in Israel and Ukraine. The unknown of what the future holds is not reassuring. But what's reassuring is when we allow God to help us. Because he said he will. When we allow him to take care of us. Because he said he will. When we allow him to provide the righteousness of all the negative things in the world. Because he said he will with his right hand. I know for me right now, I got a lot going on. And I'm asking God, I need your help. I need your help to guide me, mold me, and shape me in this time. So I want you today, as you listen to this podcast, and we get ready for this Christmas season, that you ask God to help you in this time, in this challenging time, because a lot of you, this season is a very dark season for you. For me, it's not necessarily that way, but I'm looking into 2024, and I'm not sure what that looks like for me and my family, for me and my business, for the Deaf-Blind Potter, the Seeming Cane. But I know it's in God's hands. I know I've given it all to him.
And I want you to give it all to Him today. So that ends the Perseverance Corner, and here comes the announcements. The first announcement, if you haven't heard, I have a radio show called the Deaf Blind Potter Show, and I really want you to check it out. You can find it on YouTube at Deaf Blind Potter. You can find it at Rumble at Deaf Blind Potter. You can go to mydeafblindpottershow.com and get it there. If you want the podcast, you can get Deaf Blind Potter Show on your Apple Podcast. Working on trying to get it into other platforms, but I don't have a lot of control over that. But if you really want to get content from me that covers parts of Perseverance Podcast, parts of my Deafblind Potter journey, and things that I'm going to be living beyond challenges in my own life and bringing people on that are living beyond challenges, it's kind of a hodgepodge of everything about me and what I do and all my platforms in one location. So go to deafblindpottershow.com and check it all out. The other thing that's going on right now is the holidays. We're getting ready to wrap up the year. I'm going to do one more big project for the year that will kind of turn into a whole 12-month process. But where are we at with the CME Cane? So CME Cane is undergoing a little bit of surgery in regards to adding a new board and some more battery options. And we're going to be going through that process and hopefully be able to launch it next year, early next year. So if you want to support the CME Cane and you want to do that for the end of this year, we currently don't have a nonprofit status to give you that. So if you just want to support, you can go to cmecane.com and donate there. Third announcement. Starting next year, we'll be having another brand that I'm not necessarily in charge of, but I'll be raising a lot of money for, which is the Living Beyond the Label Foundation, which is a nonprofit that my father's starting with Charlie Montford, Jeremy Sanders, which is a really good friend of mine, and Bridget Gallup. And the four of them, they're building this nonprofit to help be able to create assistive technology affordable to visually impaired people, as well as develop assistive technology. For example, deafblind people, they don't really have a good way to just answer a phone call and have a phone call with somebody. And so why not build something that will help somebody that's deafblind be able to receive and answer a phone call? So there's different things like that that this foundation is going to be doing. So if this is interesting to you and you want to get behind this, definitely email my father at Jerry, Jerry, at lblf.org. Whether you want to donate, you want to get behind it, you want to help advocate, help fund for different things. So this is also where the giveaway cane program is going to be for the CME Cane as well. Third, I need your help because my kiln had to go to the kiln doctor. And the kiln doctor didn't have good news. And if you don't know what a kiln is, it's the big oven for pottery. You put your pottery in there and it bakes it and makes it into what it is today. I'm raising $700 for this, so you can get all of that at deafblindpotter.com. And right there, right in front of your face, will be a link to support the kiln fundraising. By the time this comes out, I'm hoping I've already raised my money, but just take a double check to see if there's still support needed. Lastly, I just want to give you a little bit of hope right now. Because everything right now in our world is just tough. Don't you feel like we're in a boiling pot and it's just getting hotter and hotter? And we can feel that the water is getting warm, but we don't know when it's going to explode. In some places, it's already exploded. But other places, it hasn't. And I just want to give you a little bit of hope. When you have your eyes on Christ, He's going to help you through the season. He's going to work with you in the hard times. It doesn't matter how nasty it gets. Our hope is in heaven. And he doesn't say life is going to be easy. We're going to go through trials. But he does say the trials that you go through will give you more and more hope. Some of us are thinking, oh, I don't know if I can go through any more trials. But God said, no, let me pick up your foot and move you forward. When you lean into him, it gives you more opportunity to overcome challenges and build the hope in Christ. So, my encouragement to you today, look into the darkness and see Christ, because that's the light in the darkness. Go be a light in the darkness. But remember, your flame is only fueled when you lean into Christ. Not on your own, but Christ. So that wraps up the Perseverance Podcast. Like I always say, go live beyond your challenges, and I'll see you next month.
Now you're ready to persevere for your challenges today. Thank you for joining me on the Perseverance Podcast. If you'd like to get a hold of me, you can email me at kelvin@perseverancepodcast.com. You can also follow me on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Deaf Blind Potter. If you'd like to buy some merch or some Deaf Blind Potter pieces, you can go to deafblindpotter.com. Please give us a 5-star rating and subscribe to the Perseverance Podcast so you don't miss an episode. That way, you and I can continue living beyond our challenges and persevering through them too.